Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be doing a Kraken Robotics stock analysis. Now, if you don't know which branch Kraken Robotics is in, it's in aerospace and defense, but that's a bit misleading to be honest, because they are in maritime sonar and battery technology. But what do they actually produce? The flagship drone is the Catfish, which operates like this, where it projects a sonar under the water and then of course images the ground. This is great for maritime defense as well as just if you have any cables and so on and so forth, or just for research itself. But the reason I like it a lot is because of the batteries. And they have batteries in autonomous drones, and they're used quite a lot by Anduril. And they have drones such as the LD, the XL, and the Copperhead as well. So overall, they are one of the prime suppliers of battery technology for Anduril, and it is all of these three autonomous drones, which is quite great because, of course, Anduril is the fastest growing US defense company at the moment. Now let's get back to the stock. So if we take a look at the stock here on a 1 hour time frame where each candle is an hour, we can see the stock has been performing quite great lately. It is quite obvious to see it has just been an upwards, slow and surely trajectory upwards. Of course, we did see some blips back in the day, but overall still it's performing quite nicely. Now let me just make each candle a day instead so you can see just how crazy it has been performing lately. Scroll all the way back, we can see it was first publicly traded back in 2013. And ever since then it's just slowly and surely increasing upwards to about below $1 still and just sideways for quite a while. All until about mid to late 2023 where it really took off. We can see in 2023 it was trading, just look at this, in the end of 2023 it was trading about 60 cents, and this is 60 Canadian cents, and now it's trading at 8.22. Of course, it has been doing quite crazy lately. Now, something you should notice, it is a very, very small company. It only has a market cap of 2.3 billion. Now, it does have a beta of 1.58, meaning it is 58% more volatile than the average index which it lies in. So a bit more volatile than average, but for such a small company, it's actually great, as we sometimes see the beta at 3. Now, if we make each candle an hour instead, it's also obvious in the RSI that it's performing quite great in the RSI. Now, if you don't know what the RSI is, that is the relative strength index. This shows which momentum a stock has. If something is between 70 and 50, it's in the upper bracket, meaning the stock is simply trading upwards. Now, is it above 70, it's in the upper channel right up here, but it's being in the overbought section, meaning it's rising rapidly. Now, when something is up here, you should be a bit more careful, as we often see it. Chances are it's going to fall back down again a bit more rapidly. You see that right here as it's trading up in 82 in the RSI, and then quite quickly after it trades all the way back down here from $5, and it was all the way up in 7.5. And we also see that in the RSI, where it does the opposite, where it moves down in the lower channel of the RSI between 50 and 30, which means it's simply trading downwards, but it goes all the way below 30 here. It actually peaked out about 19, which is being oversold. And again, the same is true down here. It's more volatile down here than it is as it is up here in the overbought. So always be careful when you see like this. And currently we're actually getting quite close to overbought in the RSI, so maybe someone should be a bit careful. Now, if you look at the earnings, you can see the past earnings haven't been that great, but they haven't been that poor either. We see Q4 of 2024 was up by 300%, but the past three have been quite disappointing, down by 100%, 100%, and down by 14%. Now, they don't pay out in dividends, and of course they don't do this because it's quite a small company. However, if we look at their income, we can see it's actually quite decent, and they're actually making a profit, and they had a net margin of 22% in 2024, which is amazing. Now, if we go into their statements, we can look at their year-over-year total growth in total revenue. It's quite impressive. Of course, these are relatively small numbers for a company, but it's the percentage growth we want to note. So it grew 89%, 125%. Then we had COVID, down by 19%, grew by 108%, and so on and so forth. So overall, insane growth margins, and if they can keep doing this, it's going to be an amazing company in the future as well. Now, how do they make the revenue? That is in products and services. Now, they did have a lot of other platforms, or not platforms, but they used to categorize it different, where the power, of course, was the battery, and sensors and platforms was the sonar, and so on and so forth. Now, battery and sonar are both in products, and services is, of course, when they need to service a drone or a battery. So that is why it has been split up into two different categories. Now, where do they make the money? They make by far the largest amount of money in North America. Then they also make a quite nice part in Europe, Middle East, and also in the Asia Pacific. This is primarily Australia. Now, if we look at the overview of this company, they have a relatively few amount of employees, which is quite nice to see. And something we like quite a lot for small companies is the amount of debt. They have virtually no debt at all, and that is quite rare for small defense contractors like this. And we love to see that because this means, of course, they can operate much longer if they had a negative cash flow. However, they still even have 120 million on the cash as well, so that is great. Now they have a relatively low amount of closely held shares as well. We like to see this. This is often investors like the CEO or some who was in on the IPO who cancel their shares, and we like this being low because otherwise other investors would just get diluted. Now the price to earnings and PES ratio is relatively high at 123 and 22. Now annually we can also see that the PS is quite high compared to earlier. As we've seen 2023 it was at 1.94 and last year was 6.97. So overall it has increased quite a lot, as well as the price to earnings trading at late last year was 31 and currently it is 123. Now if we go down and look at the seasonals for this company, go all the way back to 2013, it has been quite nice returns year over year. We have quite a lot of years with great returns. Of course, we also have some years with quite poor returns, but for such a small company, the returns have been quite amazing for quite a while. Look at the average, we can see it's actually 4.8. Now, that might seem weird that I'm saying this is great returns, but for such a small company, this is actually quite great, as we often see huge losses in so small companies. Now, if we look at the technicals, the day it's a strong buy. Just look at this over here in the moving averages. Buy overall, we only have one where it isn't. If we look at the week as well, it's a buy overall. It's even a strong buy, and for the month, it is just a buy. Now, if we go down to the analyst rating on this, they are quite decent. We have 2 strong buy, 1 buy, and 2 hold. Now, the maximum price target within 1 year is 9.5, and the average is 8.5. And the worst one is 6.2. Now, where is this going to end within the year? I think it's going to be quite a lot higher. I think we might see some money move out of the traditional defense stocks and move into companies like Kraken Robotics, also because Anduril is going on the IPO, is at least getting an IPO this year, that is at least being speculated. So I think a lot of companies in the same sector, like drones and autonomous, like Kraken is, we are going to see them absolutely explode. Now, if we look at their annual EPS, we can see they're guiding the same 2025 as 2024, so it's going to be great when that earnings comes out. And in 2026, they're doubling that, and then it's increasing quite nicely. If we look at their annual revenue, we can see it's actually quite modest, which I absolutely love to see, and they're actually guiding down in 2028 compared to 2027. And the reason that I believe they're doing this is, of course, we can't really speculate into what the drone market would look like in 2028. We need some proper results. Now, my personal price target for this within the year, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised at 12 to 14 bucks. Now, that might seem a bit high, as that is almost 100% up for where we're sitting currently at the most, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. And I have to say, I own a small share of Kraken Robotics. I don't have that many, but I do think this is a company who have great future, and it is by far one of my favorite small defense contractors in the world right now. If you like this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And of course, remember, this isn't financial advice. This is purely for entertainment and educational purposes. But if you want to see more videos like this, please leave the company you want to analyze in the comment section below.